'Tis the season of role players returning to my program. And this one I'm pretty happy about, Carton. Amari Burnett has announced that he is returning to Michigan for his fifth season in college. I believe that last season, Amari Burnett was one of the best efficient role playing spot up shooters in the country. Thought he had a stellar season, and I thought it was really, I don't know, it was rewarding for me as a fan to see this guy finally break through in a really impactful way for a basketball team. He's had an up and down career, didn't really play at Texas Tech, had moments at Alabama, and then was a big role guy on the horrible Michigan Juwan Howard team and chose to return along with Will Cheddar, only two guys that really wanted to come back and play for the first Dusty May team. Dusty May certainly got the best out of him last year, and Michigan had a lot of success. Shot 40% from three on really high volume, had that big game winner against Rutgers when they were still in a title hunt at the time. And I think a lot of people would have assumed that this might just be the end of the road for Namari. He's played 4 years in college. Maybe it's time to move on, but he does have one extra year left thanks to the COVID year because he began his college career back in 2021. And he's using it at the University of Michigan. Did not enter the portal. Is just going to run this back with Dusty May, and I think have a pretty big on the court role. What's your reaction? Obviously, you're a rival fan here, but is this a huge, important pickup for Michigan, or is this minor news?
I think it's a really good pickup or a really good get back for Michigan. I think you have a lot of experience with Namari Burnett. I think you have a guy who is a proven shooter. And I think you slot him in at the two spot, right? I'm guessing next to Elliot Cadeau, and you have your backcourt. So actually, there was Namari, your three, and you have LJ Kaysen out there, and you just go those three and then two bigs or whatever you go there.
That's my assumption. So I'm going to say this right now. Last year, it felt like watching this Michigan team. They had Donaldson, they had Gale, they had Burnett, and they had Reuben Jones backing everything up. And LJ Kaysen was like the long shot, right? It was those five bodies for three spots. And largely, it felt like a really underwhelming group. I think next year, even though some of the pieces are the same, it's going to feel like it took a big leap forward. Like Cadeau, fine, he's 1 for 1 for Donaldson. No matter how you feel about him, I don't really care. Namari Burnett and Roddy Gale, presumably both back. We're still waiting on a Roddy Gale announcement that hasn't come yet. Today's the final day. I'm keeping my eye on that. But with Burnett, with presumably Gale, with Kaysen all back, then you add McKennie and Winters Grady into the mix. Like you actually have some upside shots here that I think are a lot more reasonable than fifth year Reuben Jones playing big minutes last year. So it might feel like this group takes a big step forward just by default. You basically need one of Trey McKennie, LJ Kaysen, Winters Grady to hit in a big on-court way. And all of a sudden the team is Cadeau, whoever that breakout guy is, and Namari Burnett at the 1, 2, 3. I feel fantastic about that. And then Roddy Gale can play this super sixth man role. Sort of, if he's hot, he plays. If he's not, fine. I would feel really good about that as a position group. But to be clear, none of that works without Namari. And I think this is the ad that sort of makes the way Dusty has moved this offseason start to make sense for me. Because the criticism from him, I mean, he went so hard after front court. He wanted Yaxler for huge money. He wanted Merez and Mara done immediately. Get them done. He got his point guard, Donaldson, swap, fine. But then everybody was waiting, like, why isn't he getting another guard? Why isn't he getting a shooter? What is he doing? This roster doesn't make sense. It starts to make sense if you realize that he knew he had Namari back the whole time. Because it actually is kind of crowded for those two positions. If you look at McKennie, Grady, Kaysen, Gale, Burnett, that's five guys for two spots. And you presume most of them need minutes. Like if you don't play Kaysen this year, he's going to leave. If you don't play McKennie, he's not going to be happy. So to me, I think it starts to make sense. You could debate whether or not this is the highest upside move. Maybe Dusty should have been a little more cutthroat with certain guys. He should not have been cutthroat with Namari Burnett. Namari Burnett to me is a guy you would drop on any program in the country right now, and he would help them. He's just a 40% shooter, 3 and D. He'll guard your best player. He doesn't need the ball. He's a really smart guy. I thought he got a lot better last season from the year before. I think he's an awesome fit for the Dusty May system, one of the most low maintenance players that I've ever watched in the program, and a huge add to next year's team specifically because all we need is shooting. We interrupt this sleepers video to tell you about an offer from Underdog Fantasy. Cart, you love Underdog Fantasy, correct?
course I do. Can I have a moment real quick?
Please. Thank you for that. In fact, I'm going to cut you off because our listeners like when we keep these short and sweet. Underdog Fantasy. Sign up as a new user. Use promo code SLEEPERS. Get bonus funds up to $1,000, 50% of your deposit match. The NBA playoffs are rocking right now. I played Underdog last week with a Cade Cunningham line. I'm looking forward to doing it throughout the entire first round of the NBA playoffs, but there's more. You can place picks on golf. You can place picks on baseball. You can place picks on the NHL playoffs that are rocking right now. Join Underdog Fantasy, promo code SLEEPERS. Support this show so that we can keep bringing videos to you. Back to the video. Like, I do think, Cart, there's a world where he has a career year playing alongside Elliot Cadeau and Yaxel Lendeborg. He might shoot 9 threes a game in between those guys, and if he shoots the same volume or efficiency he did last year, he could look really, really good for this team.
Yeah, I think Amari Burnett is one of the was I think I said it last year. I thought he was one of the more underrated, just like 3 and D guys in the country. And you put him into a lineup that possibly has a Yaxel in it or a player like of that caliber. That's a perfect guy to put out there that you can trust to defend and knock down shots. And that's what I think that's what any team needs. So yeah, really good get back from Dusty because if you didn't do this, then you are kind of like banking on one, either getting somebody else or two, one of the freshmen to step up in that spot. And there's a world where they could do that, to be honest with you, and maybe even shift on that. Like maybe Trey McKinney ends up being a starter by the end of the year, something like that. But having a 24-year-old who can shoot 40% from three and check and is 6'5" does you good.
It puts a little pressure on the upside guys too. Like McKenny, Case, and Grady all sort of need to bring it now because if they're not worthy of minutes, you just play Burnett and presumably Gale, and you know what you have. You have what you had last year with a different point guard. You can win with that. Clearly, your front court's got to be great, but Dusty's already shown he can win with those guys. So I don't know. I like it because it's really stabilizing. I think if Kaysen and McKenny are both awesome, I think Namari still plays a ton. To me, on a national championship caliber team, he's a sixth man. On a Sweet 16 caliber team, he's probably a starter. And you try to stretch him beyond anything beyond that, it gets a little iffy. But yeah, I love it. I think he's a perfect fit, a really, really important player to this roster. Last note from me, maybe I'm being a little I don't know, giving too many flowers today, but maybe I'm just in a good mood because I like Namari Burnett. I think it's pretty impressive that Dusty basically wrapped this up and didn't get him in the portal. Like, if I was an advisor to Namari Burnett, based on how the portal is working right now, I think I would have told him to just put his name in the portal. And even
Mhm.
if you want to return to Michigan, at least see what else is out there for your fifth year. He's a guy who's already transferred twice. He's won at Michigan. He's graduated. Like, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of schools I think out there that would pay humongous money for a 40% shooting 3 and D guy with that many minutes. And I think it's not that minor of a thing that Dusty just got him in the fold without even considering going that route.
Yeah, I mean, one Michigan's probably paying them still pretty good, given the money y'all have, and like role is there, everything is there, and not everyone wants to play for four schools. Like that's a lot. It's a lot of change. I feel
Yeah.
like he was. I feel like he was transferring to find a spot that works, and he finally found one. So he's good staying in that spot.
Yeah, that's true. I do think it's an impressive note on like maybe Dusty's ability with retention.
Yeah, I don't want to give Dusty credit,
You don't have to, but I'm like I want Dusty to have retention be a thing. You've heard me criticize Illinois for this a
but
lot.
he lost Fat and Sam.
Yeah, he killer. Like honestly, Kari, let's talk. Like he retained the guys I wanted him to retain for the most part. I could go either way on Donaldson given how his season ended. I would have obviously not minded keeping him, but like want Kaysen back. You kind of did Kaysen dirty last year, but I still believe in that dude. Retain him. It would have made a lot of sense for Kaysen to Portal. He didn't. Namari Burnett, an awesome role player. Retain him. You did. Will Cheddar's being recruited over every single turn, but he's a really good bench piece. Like, retain him. Like I don't know. I'm happy with Dusty's ability to retain players right now, and I think this bodes well for the coming years.
Yeah.
We'll see. Roddy Gale, the last domino. That's one I wouldn't mind not retaining, to be honest, but we'll see. One more day. Congrats to Michigan, Dusty, and myself on retaining one of my favorite role players in the country.